What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to Pnoid. Let's have a conversation about RFK, right? In particular, RFK Jr. Now, I have certain feelings about his candidacy. On one hand, the liberal indoctrination that I have, right, tells me that royalty and dynasty and things of this nature are not positive things, right? And I didn't like, George W. Bush, and I didn't like George H.W. Bush, right? I didn't like Bill Clinton and then Hillary Clinton running, right? I don't like these type of ideologies. But now, I have a secondary thought pattern about this, right? Where I think RFK Jr. might be the second president in the history of the United States who was actually an American. Now, why do I say this? All the other presidents who's ever been elected, right, have been people who in their home countries, right, who like in any other country would have existed, right? But JFK, RFK Jr., they come from a family who earned their way by moonshining. And that is a particularly American enterprise, right, as it were. There are not a lot of other places that this would have been a thing, right? And with that idea in hand, I want to stand here and look at RFK as something different, right? I made a video a while back called Trump Should Have Been King, right? He should have been a monarch. And I don't really want a king, but on the same point, I think we need a president who has powers on that level. And with RFK's ideology and who he is as a human being and where he comes from, right? His family does not come from long old school money, right? His family does not stand here and come from an idea that, they're English. His family does not come from royalty in another country. His family comes from Irish regular roots. And this is important to understand. Whereas we look at them as political royalty today, right? Because, his uncle and his dad were very important, influential, almost even sex figures, as you would say, back in the 60s in that time. His knowledge and his abilities are sorely needed. He hasn't spent his life in politics. He spent his life fighting against them. And why do I say this? Because he spent his life as an attorney fighting for people who have been harmed by the government and harmed by corporations across this fucking country. He stood here and fought for fishermen in the Hudson River. He's sat here and fought for people who had to stand here and watch their kids have cancer because of toxic dumping. He is the type of man who all of us would hope would want to be president, right? Or who we would stand here and go yeah, we need you. Right? Because he actually did fight for the little guy. Right? Regardless of whether or not he comes from wealth, and he does. His dad, his grandfather made a lot of money working with my people. Right? Standing here, working with the mob, working with the Appalachians, bringing in moonshine and bootlegging. Right? That's how they made their fucking bones. But on the same point, in his own right, he stood up, and he's still standing up, saying that the experts aren't always the answer in the end of the day. I want to play this video, and I don't know like how it is that you guys kind of would feel about this, but I would hope that you would feel like I do.
Can I describe it first, kind of what I saw? Because I flew down to Yuma, and then at 1 o'clock arrived at the 1 o'clock a.m. arrived at the border. And the first group when I arrived there was a group coming across of about, I think it was 2 busloads, it was about 100 and maybe about 100 people who were all West Africans. So I had expected I'd see a lot of Central Americans, people from Salvador and Panama and Guatemala, but that's not what it was. It was all Africans, African men, military age. Most of them were from Senegal. Next group that came across and they're just waiting in line to cross. Hundreds and hundreds of people. They come in buses of 55 each, and they're let off about a half mile, and then they walk to the gap in the fence, and they walk around. The next group, I went and talked to them, and there was only 2 families that were from Latin America, one from Colombia, one from Peru. The rest were from Azerbaijan, Uzbekistan, Tibet, Kazakhstan, Nepal, China, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Eastern Europe. And what's happening, and as I said, it's the insanity of it. They're brought across, they're fingerprinted to see if they have criminal records. If they don't, they're asked one question by the Border Patrol: do you have a contact in this country? And if they say yes, the Border Patrol says, can you put us on the phone with that contact? If they can do that, if they can get them on a cell phone, the Border Patrol asks them, if we put this family on an airplane, will you pick them up at Minneapolis or San Diego or Chicago and New York? And if that person says yes, and they take them to the airport, FEMA pays for their ticket, and they go anywhere they want in the country. 7 million people have come across. The cartels control all the immigration, and they have shifted from drug smuggling to make this one of their big, profit lines. So they are sending videos, social media videos all over the world, recruiting people from countries. They have lawyers who are working with them in other countries. They tell them exactly what to do. You get on a plane to Mexico City. The cartels help you get a visa in Mexico City for Mexico. They then put you on an internal plane to Mexicali. The cartels have a parking lot filled with buses at Mexicali. You get on one of those buses, and then they drive you to the crossing, and there are 9 big crossings. And the one I went to was in Yuma, and the night I went there, probably 600 to 800 people came across, and the little town of Yuma is bearing a lot of the initial burden because a lot of these people are sick, so they go to the hospital. There's a lot of pregnant women. I talked to them. I spent a day with the head of the hospital, and he said that a few months ago there were so many pregnant immigrants in his hospital. They occupied 32 of the 35 beds on the maternity ward, and a lot of local women who had scheduled pregnancy inductions, induced births, C-sections, whatever, could not get in, had to cancel or postpone their appointments. He said that he spent $27 million of the hospital's budget last year unreimbursed to take care of the immigrants. And we talked with the sheriff who told us because the entire Border Patrol is now processing people, there's nobody guarding the border, and the drugs are pouring across through the other place. If you're a smuggler or a bad guy, you don't come through that fence, around that fence. These are all people who intend to stay in this country. When they stay, they're given a court date 7 years from now. And meanwhile, there's 1 million immigrants who are legally coming here, 1.1 million immigrants who go through the whole process, which could take them 8 or 10 years. And this is like a stick in the face for them. So, no country can survive if it can't control its borders, and we're not doing that. The good news is this, that everybody that I talked to there said that this is easy to stop. That the way to stop it is very, very simple, and that they've been doing it before. Now, I didn't like to hear this because I'm not a big fan of Donald Trump. I did not like his wall. But what the Border Patrol and everybody else said is, you don't need to build a physical barrier from San Diego, 2,200 miles to Brownsville, Texas. You do need a physical barrier in certain places where there's high density populations. The rest of it you can monitor with ground monitoring, very, very sophisticated surveillance and ground monitoring systems. Many of those were put up during the Trump administration, but for some reason, the Biden administration, when it came in, took down the towers and they removed the ground sensing systems. This is not something that, as a Democrat, that I want to hear. And then, once it got out that this is an open border and the cartels saw that there's a huge profit opportunity here, the flow has just increased exponentially. But we can stop it. During the Trump administration, the crossings at Yuma were about 10 to 25 a day at most. Now, as I said, they're 200 to 800 a day. So, we can solve this problem, but we need to do it in a way that's sensible, that's common sense, and that is not causing this terrible, terrible humanitarian crisis. From where I sat on the border, there's a tree that you can see on the other side of the fence, but it's in U.S. territory. It's called the rape tree. And it's where the cartels extract their final payment from women who come across, sometimes from children. The Border Patrol watches helplessly while they do this. I talked to people, this Peruvian family that I talked to that had lost their life savings because the cartels rob them, they beat them, they extort them, they exploit them, and ultimately they rape them. And this is a humanitarian crisis that that we're creating through government negligence, and we need to end it for everybody's sake.
So, look here, bro, right? I like this dude, right, as a whole. Like, I do, I think he has the knowledge, ability, and wherewithal to get things done. If they don't execute him, right, because he is going to go against everything that the corporations stand for. And this is why they smear him as, being anti-vax, and they smear him as, being a conspiracy theorist, and they stand here and they're trying to smash him. He is an actual American, right? Like, he's actually like a real true to life, like fully, like a American person, right? Like, this is when we talk about like America, right? Like, what is it? It's macaroni and cheese and hot dogs and Superman, right? But this guy, he comes from us. And I'll be honest, I don't see a reason why it is that we shouldn't, sit here and go like, man, look, Donald Trump even said he likes this guy in the end of the day, right? Real talk, there's not a lot of difference between him and Trump. But let's keep this 100% honest. But I think he can get things done. He has the weight, he has the ability, and he is going to be our next president, whether we like it or not. And by the way, he's yoked, right? He's ready for white boy summer. Let's keep this 100% real, all right? He's walking the walk. He talks the talk. And in the end, in the reality of what things are, I'm tribalist of, like my people where I live, right? And so like, I want what's best for the people who, where I live in my community and the human beings who are like me, right? I want what's best for Italians and Appalachians and like, individuals in my area, right? These people who like the other river rats around me, I want what's best for them, right? Because that's my tribalist nature, right? And let's keep this 100% real. I don't really care about Republicans and Democrats. It's all just corporatist nonsense in the end of the day. I think that this guy is going to be president, right? And I think he will be better off, you know what I mean, if like he was helped to, you know what I mean, like be embraced more by like the right wing in the end of the day. I'm just putting this out here. Y'all look, I'm Tom Pease of Pnoid News. Y'all know the deal. Like, share, and subscribe. I'm out.